The fight over federal transportation dollars forced higher fares here in the Chicago area. Local transit officials complained today about a proposal pending in the U.S. House. It would end the 30-year practice of giving mass transit a share of the federal gasoline tax. That would jeopardize $650 million that currently goes to city and suburban agencies. But there's another side to the story, as our political editor Mike Flannery reports tonight. Mike?
Well, Bob, Representative Peter Roskam, the highest-ranking Illinoisan in the U.S. House leadership, told me that, in fact, the Republican House plan would take away that gasoline tax money from mass transit. He said, though, that the GOP actually plans to increase transit agency funding by 60% over the next 5 years, using new revenue sources that many Democrats do not like, including offshore oil leases on the East Coast, West Coast, and the Gulf Coast. Commuters in downtown Wheaton tonight did not want to contemplate cutting hundreds of millions of dollars from mass transit funding. Having just been hit by a big fare increase, they want Metra to add service to alleviate standing room only crowds on rush hour trains.
Tonight, the trains, more and more I'm seeing commuters stand, even with the fare increase. Tonight, they didn't even charge us because people were standing in the aisles.
It's impossible to collect the fare.
Exactly.
I think it needs to be a priority, and we can find other places to cut. People need the transit.
Wheaton's Representative Peter Roskam said congressional Republicans actually want to increase mass transit funding. They are proposing to cut off transit's share of the federal gasoline tax, replacing it with revenue from future offshore oil leases, and with higher charges that would be paid by federal workers for health insurance and retirement benefits. So what's the goal here?
The goal is to have the gas tax pay for highways and to come up with another source of revenue to pay for our transit system.
Breaking ranks on that score, though, was Roskam's North Suburban Republican colleague, Congressman Bob Dole. He and Southwest Suburban Democratic Representative Dan Lipinski strongly object to breaking apart the funding formula that now links transit aid and highway funding.
Illinois is a donor state. We're sending more money to the federal government. We want to make sure that our infrastructure, transportation infrastructure here remain strong. It's absolutely critical. It's vital for our economy.
And indeed, there is going to be a vote in the House tentatively scheduled for later this week on this proposal. The Senate may take up a different transportation proposal next week, Bob.
So just to be clear, commuters don't have to worry about this tomorrow or even in the next year.
No,
right?
But Peter Roskam points out that the gasoline tax is going to be exhausted as a revenue source. There's far more demand for it. Within 2 years, he said, they're going to need to find some new revenue. Of course, one of the things that they're trying to do